Good afternoon, Blue Springs South. I want to thank you for giving me a few of your moments here this afternoon about a very important topic, and that's our student handbook. There's some very important information in our student handbook that you need to know for this school year, and there's some changes from previous handbooks. So I want to spend some time going through that with you today. My name's Dr. Gettings. I'm your principal here at South. So if you'll track with me here over the next few moments, we'll walk through some of these things together. Certainly, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your teacher, a counselor, administrator, or any other staff member, and we'll get you the answers that you need. Okay, first of all, just understand that we have a lot of information out there. It's a big school, it's a big place. There's a lot of different things going on, and so here are some websites that contain a lot of information about our school, about what's going on around South. So don't forget to check those things out as well. One of the most important slides on here, I believe, is what our core values are at Blue Springs South, and that is people first, growth, compassion, empathy, and respect. And we'll talk a little bit about those things throughout the course of the year. And for some of you, for you upperclassmen, you remember last year we started talking a little bit about that through our Thrive program. And we'll continue to talk about that. But those core values, the idea behind them are those are values that we all can get behind, and it will help guide us towards how we want to do things here at Blue Springs South. And I can't stress enough how important those values are to our school community. And like I said, what they'll help us do from a staff standpoint is help us make decisions about how we can move forward as a school in difficult situations, but even day-to-day decisions as well, right? Putting people first, believing that everybody has the ability to grow, having compassion for each other, trying to understand empathy, and certainly respecting each other as we come to school every day. That's what we want to try to be here at Blue Springs South. Okay, let's talk a little bit about tardies. It has changed this year. It is not cumulative over the course. It is now cumulative over the course of the day, not per hour. Last year it was, you had 3 tardies in each hour, that you could potentially have. Now what we're looking at is total tardies. So in other words, if you have 5 total tardies, doesn't matter what classes, just 5 total tardies, what that's going to end up being is a principal warning and parent or guardian contact. Once you get to 7 tardies, it's a 2-hour detention. 9 tardies is a day of ISD. 12 tardies or more can land you in ISD for 2 or more days. All right, again, that's a change from last year, so just be aware of that. Why is it important that we count tardies, and why is it important to us as a school? First of all, it's an expectation, right? We expect you to be on time to school and on time to your classes. Being on time, over time, means less things missed and improved performance. You can't debate that. There's no question that if you're on time consistently, it will impact your performance in our school. It's a simple gesture of respect, which is one of our core values as a school. And finally, it builds habits that will serve you well past Blue Springs South. Again, can't stress that enough. Being on time is important. We want you to build that habit here at South. That's going to give you a competitive advantage when you leave here and you're out in the world, whatever it is you may do when you graduate from Blue Springs South. Another big change is attendance. We do have a new attendance policy that's in place this year. The bottom line is this: if you miss 10 or more school days, excused and or unexcused, it doesn't matter what the absence is, you run the risk of losing credit for that class. At 5 and 8 absences, the school will contact home, and at 10 absences, you and your parent or guardian will be required to meet with an administrator. There is an appeal process, so please see your assistant principal with any questions on how that might apply to you. Again, there is an appeal process, and your assistant principal can help you walk through that if you think that applies to your situation. But again, this attendance policy goes in effect as of the start of the school year, and so if you miss 10 or more days, you're in jeopardy of losing credit for that class. Dress code. Bottom line, here it is. Extremes in apparel or personal appearance which disrupt the classroom and or interfere with the intended function of school is not acceptable. Violations of the dress code will result in asking the clothing issued to be corrected before returning to class. Repeat violations will result in disciplinary consequences. Parking. First of all, you got to buy a permit and park where you're assigned. Okay, can't stress that enough. Parking is at a premium here. We've got a lot of people that show up here every day. Please park where students park. Violations will result in parking tickets. Keep in mind the speed limit that's posted on campus at 10 miles an hour, so please be courteous and be safe. And understand this, parking is a privilege at Blue Springs South. It's not a right. So repeated violations run the risk of parking being revoked. So be smart about that and pay attention to where you're parking. Certainly parking in visitor parking, parking in staff parking, and parking in handicap parking are not acceptable and will get you ticketed. Cell phones, another big one, right? Make sure, first of all, the general rule in the classroom is this: put your phone away during class time unless permission is given by your teacher. All right, phones should be away unless the teacher has given you permission to have them out. A first offense can be up to 1 day of ISD. I want to read this to you. This is directly out of our board policy because cell phones and some of our school policies extend outside the classroom. If your cell phone usage causes a disruption to our school, and or if you use a cell phone or other personal electronic device to capture or share sound, video, and or images when a person has an expectation of privacy, such as a locker room, restrooms, dressing rooms, or any other location where a person may be changing clothes or engaged in personal or private activities, then that decision could result in suspension for up to 10 school days and refer to the superintendent for possible further disciplinary action, up to 180 school days or possibly even expulsion. Remember, expulsion means you can't come back to school. So again, cell phones can get you into a lot of trouble if you're not using them the way that they're intended to be used here at school. One other piece here on cell phones. The use of a cell phone or other personal electronic device or any district technology resource to capture, share, transmit, distribute, or display to others any message, sound, or image that may be considered violent, threatening, obscene, pornographic, vulgar, offensive, illegal, bullying, harassing, unlawful discrimination, or which includes fighting or nudity is strictly prohibited. This decision could result in suspension for up to 10 school days with referral to the superintendent for possible further disciplinary action up to 180 school days or expulsion. Remember, again, expulsion means you can't come back. All right, so again, be smart with your cell phones. You guys know what's right and what's wrong with the cell phone. Medications. If you have a prescription medication, it has to be handled with health services staff at the clinic that's up by the north office. Over-the-counter medications, you can have 1 daily dose in a labeled container. Again, 1 daily dose in a labeled container. All right, let's talk a little bit about major rule violations. These are such things as possession of drugs, alcohol, or controlled substances, attendance under the influence, or possession of a weapon. First of all, what we got to understand is that your car, your backpack, your purse, your cell phone, and your locker are all or can all be searched. If it is in your car, in your hands, or in your backpack, it is yours. A first offense of any of those 3 major violations is 10 days out of school suspension and referral to central office and law enforcement. Again, 10 days out of school and referral to central office and law enforcement. Vaping and e-cigarettes, possession or use will result in suspension. First offense is 3 days out of school. Second offense is 5 days out of school. And the third offense is 10 days out of school. And before we start here on the fighting side, one thing I want to talk to you about in regards to search and seizure. The school has every right to search those things that we just talked about. And remember, the school The threshold for a school is to have reasonable suspicion. We are not law enforcement. If we have reasonable suspicion to believe that you have something on you that you shouldn't, we have every right to search you or your belongings. So keep that in mind. Let's talk a little bit about fighting. Not only is this a violation of our school policy, but it's also a violation of the law. You'll be suspended immediately and you will be referred to law enforcement. First offense of fighting is 5 days out of school. A second offense is 10 days out of school. A third offense is 10 days and referral to CO. Keep in mind this is cumulative. So for example, if you're a junior right now sitting in class and you were in a fight your freshman year, one fight your freshman year, you already start at number 2. So if you get in a fight your your junior year, that's now your second fight while you've been in high school, and you immediately now start at the 10 days OSS. All right? Fighting is totally not acceptable in our school, and we will not allow it. It is something that hurts our school. It hurts our school culture. If you have problems with conflict resolution, then you need to see a teacher, an administrator, a counselor, or some other school staff personnel that can help you walk through how to resolve your conflicts without fighting. And I want to stress again, if you are involved in a fight, you will be referred to law enforcement. You also need to understand that if you're involved in a fight and one of our staff members gets hurt in the process of trying to break up a fight, you could be charged with assault. So keep that in mind also. Harassment. Conduct which threatens, intimidates, causes fear or anxiety, demeans, belittles, humiliates, embarrasses, or disparages. Bullying. The Blue Springs School District participates in the Oveus bullying program, first of all. You need to know that. In conjunction with the Missouri State statute or law, bullying is defined as this: a person is bullied when they are exposed repeatedly and over time to unwanted, intimidating, aggressive, or harassing behavior that would cause a reasonable student to fear for their property or safety, or which behavior substantially disrupts the educational environment. Discrimination. The Blue Springs School District prohibits discrimination, including harassment and creating a hostile environment on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, ancestry, disability, or age in its programs or activities. If through the course of an investigation it's determined that harassment, bullying, or discrimination has occurred, you need to understand that a first offense could land you up to 10 days of out-of-school suspension and possible referral to central office. Bottom line, not acceptable and not in line with our core values as a school. One thing that all of you should know is you need to report. Please report any incident of harassment, discrimination, and or bullying immediately. Do not wait. You may report it to teachers, counselors, or administrators. We are certainly here to help in this process. Hey, finally, I appreciate your attention with this today. You know, our theme at South is Grow Today, Thrive Tomorrow. And again, it goes back to those core values. We believe that everyone in this building, to include our staff, to include me as your principal, can grow. And we certainly believe that if you're willing to allow us to teach you, you're going to grow today and you're going to thrive tomorrow. We're all part of the Blue Springs South community, and we all have a very important role to play to make this the absolute best place for everyone. Let your light shine, and there are no ends to what we can accomplish at Blue Springs South this year. I'm so excited for this school year. I hope you guys have a great year. Go Jags.